Nikki, why do you choose seasons? How long have you done seasons? What do you like about seasons? Do you lose listenership because of seasons? Do you gain listenership because of seasons? Give us the rundown on that.
All about seasons.
Yeah.
Well, I found it actually really helps to solidify the message. And everybody runs their podcast differently. But because I'm really trying to capture specific audiences and stay relevant to kind of themes that are going on, I want to make sure that I'm capturing that in kind of an encapsulated amount of time. So between 10 to 12 episodes makes up a season for me. So similar to your Netflix shows usually. And so each time I really sit down with my team and we talk about, okay, what is going on that we really want to make sure we highlight. The beauty of it too is podcasts are evergreen. So as soon as we finish a season, we can still go back and promote any of the previous seasons. We can also, since we do a lot of podcast swaps, promote other people's shows that have been on our show that maybe have another show. So it really helps, I think, that audience engagement to do more than just, okay, one and done, but let's see how we can keep it living throughout that time in between.
So you say, I'm hearing you on some of those parts and I'm absolutely agreeing. But the part that I'm wondering if we're not aligned on, I'll bring that up as well. But the parts that I think that make a lot of sense, it's kind of cool to have like 12 episodes, all kind of centered around the same thing, where you can really focus and you can really capture and solidify what message you want for that type of topic and take care of it. The question that I have is that it sounded like you said something like you're serving the listener more, you're helping the listener more, or the listener learns more by having a couple of months off or something. And I want to understand what you mean by that.
Yeah, well, especially because some of my main audience are people that are in school, they are used to kind of a semester mentality still, right? Is like, oh, I went and took this class for a couple of months and then I get a break, right? And then I go and I take the next class. And so that's kind of how we started that original version of doing these season, is kind of getting a break. And, people get busy. People have lives. There's lots going on. And especially there's so many podcasts out there. And so, you may lose people for a while, but that's why I like to refresh them again. And, your episode on our show was one of our top episodes. So, hey, then we'll have a blog come out and we'll also put it in written form. So continuing to showcase how the podcast can be more than just one thing on one day.
And what happens when you're on a break? Like what happens in the middle of a season for you? Like, for example, I'm going to pretend like you take about 2-ish months off. And during that 2-ish months, are you twiddling your thumbs? Are you traveling? Are you doing celebrating birthdays and Christmas and New Year's and all these other things? Or are you recording and going eager at it and writing things down and practicing and then getting ready to publish? Like, what does it look like in the interim?
Yeah. And it's trying to use my time to the best of my ability. And this is something really I learned over the time. When I did my first season, I was like, record, release, record, release, record, release. And it was really kind of stressful, especially because we were still learning the craft of podcasting and what it was going to take to get the shows out there. Now I batch record. And so I have that idea in mind of what's going to be the theme. And based on my travel schedule and everything else going on, I get the guests all within a couple of week time period, which works out fantastic. Then I'm in a good rhythm, they're in a good rhythm, right? And we can keep that flowing. And then we put everything into editing and we slowly release them. But it also helps because of my travel schedule. Now with in-person events happening, my main part of my business is motivational speaking. So I'm on the road. Right after this, I'm heading to Vegas, then I'll be in Atlanta, then, Pittsburgh. So it's very hard to podcast when I'm on the road and have high quality that I'm used to here in my studio.